Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Harlequin here, and I've got another fine 1 vs. 1 game for you today. This is, of course, Dawn of War 2 Retribution, and these are two very good players. So this was recently from the ESL Finals. This is one of the games that was played, and I really enjoyed it and thought I would bring it out here to you guys. So this map we have seen before. It is, of course, Greentooth Gorge, and as you can see, it's got sort of a lost temple in the jungle kind of feel going on here, some old temple ruins and whatnot. Let me go ahead and zoom out and just take a quick look at this map just to remind us all what we're looking at here. Obviously, we have a starting position in the north and the south, and just kind of dividing the map in half, we've got 3 victory points right down the center to keep an eye on. Otherwise, there are a wide variety of little power nodes and requisition points kind of scattered out around each base, and there are all sorts of different ways to go about capping that, so we'll see how each player does that. But let me go ahead and introduce these players first, and then we'll take a look around and let this get started here. Playing as the Warp Spider Exarch, we have Edjtuh. He is going to be playing for the Red Eldar today, and Edjtuh is a fine player indeed, and as I mentioned before, I've seen both of these guys all over the forums, really skilled players here. Meanwhile, playing as the Lictor Alpha on the southern side of the map, we have, it's going to be Aki playing here today as the Tyrannid, so I'm going to get to see a little bit of Tyrannid on Eldar fighting. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and let's take a look around and see what each player opts to do. So oftentimes I like to keep in track on this Warp Spider Exarch here, because that little gentleman likes to blink all over the map like crazy. Already we can see a Termagant Brood being produced by Aki and a Howling Banshee squad being produced by Edjtuh. So Edjtuh definitely doesn't want to be light on melee this game, because Tyrannids can kind of stomp around with that early on if you let them. So here we have our first Termagant Brood out there right now. Now these gentlemen like to carry little poisonous rifles, and they can be upgraded to have crippling poison, stuff like that. So we'll keep an eye on those guys and see what's going on. Otherwise, the Lictor Alpha is just going to be kind of clawing his way around the map right now. Meanwhile, we can see over here on the left-hand side, this Hormagant Brood is moving on out to take care of this victory point, but here we get to see the early game advantage of the Warp Spider Exarch. This guy is just going to destroy these things. You can see them just popping apart. Granted, it is a very large squad of 8 units, but he has no problem just popping them left and right, almost taking 4 casualties there. The Warp Spider Exarch excels at lightly armored small targets. He does have these dual death spinners that he uses just to spray out all over the place. Anyhow, let's take a look around, and you'll see that Edjtuh went and capped and upgraded 2 power nodes right off the bat, sent his Guardians over here to grab this victory point, and then sent his Howling Banshees out to start capping some of the requisition points. Very similar capture pattern, more or less, going on for Aki, but however, Aki did not manage to grab his other power node right there. Instead, he took his 1 power node and upgraded it with 2 power generators right away. So let's take a look around and see what else is going on right now. No additional units for either player just yet. And so he's just kind of moving up and trying to grab onto this victory point, this time bringing a few extra reinforcements just to deal with this pesky Warp Spider Exarch, who is finishing capping this requisition point here. More towards the center, Howling Banshees are just taking care of that victory point, and it looks like the Guardian Squad's coming deep into Tyrannid territory right now, back capping these requisition points. Looks like our Warp Spider Exarch jumped into the building for a little while and was once again just kind of spraying these guys down there with his Death Spinners. Death Spinners, if you are not familiar, they do fire a monofilament cable and kind of whip it all over the place, so it kind of shreds people up. It's kind of like it's kind of a strange weapon. Anyhow, so it looks like our Tyrannid player is kind of backing away for the time being, but as soon as he attacks that exposed Warp Spider Exarch in force, he'll be able to take care of this finally. But you can see that the Warp Spider Exarch is pretty much permanently behind perfect cover because he can blink wherever he wants to. Taking a look around, we will see that there is a Ravener Brood out on the field right now. These guys start off as a really sneaky melee troop. They can burrow underground and pop up, and later on you can upgrade them to have a ranged attack. So we'll see what's going to go on there. Meanwhile, it looks like we have Rangers out on the field right now for Edjtuh as well, sneaky snipers. So I'm interested to see what he's planning on doing with these Raveners. Obviously, he wants to use them to sort of dig out this stupid Warp Spider Exarch who keeps blinking all over the place. But look, Edjtuh is just totally on top of his micro, blinking right into the front door and then getting up into that building right now. That'll keep away any melee squads for quite a while, and just continuing to be really annoying down here. Unfortunately, he does not control the victory point anymore, but he's definitely putting a lot of pressure on it. More towards the middle, we can see here that the Hormagant Brood is out and about, and they're getting sniped quite nicely by these Rangers right now. The Rangers not quite killing a model that shot. Normally with a bunch of small frail units, the snipers pretty much almost always get a kill every shot, but not that time. Let's take a look around here. It looks like they are definitely in some danger here. Gonna go ahead and retreat all the way into this cliffside building here just to make sure that they've got that covered. Ouch! And it looked like the retreating Guardian squad coming up all the way from the south side, having been dealt a little bit of damage by this Lictor Alpha, was just engaged in melee here. But it looks like we've got the Howling Banshees out and about right now. They have the aspect of the Banshee up, so they have fleet of foot and they can scream, which does basically just reduces damage and suppresses. So the Harlequin Brood going to have to get on out of there, and now the Howling Banshees are on the prowl. You can see here the Lictor Alpha is just kind of backing away. It is worth noting that a second Ravener Brood was made during this time, and a Shuriken Cannon is also being upgraded. So these Raveners are moving on up. We can see them just getting right involved into melee, and this might be a little bit more melee than I believe the Howling Banshees want to deal with. You can see the Howling Banshees looks like they've had crippling poison applied to them. Yes, the Termagants have been upgraded to have toxin sacks. There we get to see a little bit of the Ravener Brood action, just digging their way in, popping out and knocking back those Rangers, doing a lot of damage there. We do have the Warp Spider Exarch towards the center. Very common first upgrade. He's got the improved targeters, which gives him better range and damage. And oh, look at these guys just digging their way out of the ground, knocking back all of these troops, doing a lot of damage, but eventually just going to have to retreat on out of there as the Guardian Squad is there. And pretty much they just didn't want to get suppressed by that Shuriken Cannon any longer. So it looks like our Termagants are just kind of moving back for the time being. The Guardians looking a little weak in this matchup, but at least they do have the Plasma Grenade upgrade with the battle equipment. Anyhow, over here on the left, we can see the Warp Spider here taking a little bit more damage than he wants to and having to get on out of there. Of course, that's what these Termagants are great at. And here comes the Rangers once again to sort of try and be annoying and pick these guys off. You can see, there we go, getting one model kill right off the bat. These guys definitely have a slow rate of fire, but they will certainly get some more kills here. Oh, there goes another model as well. I wonder if he's going to take it. I think he just wants to take this victory point, soak up those casualties kind of no matter what. More towards the center, we do have some nice fighting going on here. It looks like one of the Raveners was just taken out. The Shuriken Cannon weapons team. Boom! Oh, that's exactly what Raveners are great at. It's effectively like a leap ability. You know how there are some... Oh, and we have a leftover plasma grenade being dropped by those Guardians as well. So much like Stormtroopers or Storm Boys or the Assault Marines, these guys just kind of can jump into combat like that. Very effective against positioned defensive positions like that. So Termagants once again using that crippling poison on the Howling Banshees. They're going to have to retreat, and you can see now that the Raveners have been upgraded with the Devourer upgrade, which gives them that ranged ability that you're seeing right there. Meanwhile, the Lictor Alpha continuing to just kind of crab walk his way around the map right now. You can see he is now infiltrated. Definitely going to be sneaking up in this Warp Spider Exarch. Going to get a little bit of a backstab here. And boom, there he goes. So he's already right on top of that Warp Spider Exarch, who is now blinking away and going into cover once again. So always annoying, the little Warp Spider Exarch. Taking a look around here, let's see, we do have the Ravener squad moving up right now, bumping into that Lictor Alpha. And down here in the lower left, the other Raveners were able to take care of this victory point. So it is 2-0 right now, soon to be 2-1. 423 for our blue Tyranid player and 409 for our red Eldar player. Looking more up towards the north, you can see that the Warp Spider Exarch has pretty much finished capturing that point. And just to get a count on the generators, we have 3 generators on this side for Edjtuh and 1 generator over here on the left, so 4 total. And looks like just 3 on the map right now. Or could it be? Yep, just 3 on the map right now for our Tyranid player. So Tyranids now attacking in force. We can see crippling poison. We got a plasma grenade coming in the back, but a little bit too late there. The Raveners are digging their way up and underneath the Shuriken Cannon, once again doing a ton of damage. The Howling Banshees are howling, but these are howls of pain as they are now retreating away. And it looks like for the time being that the Tyranids are on top of the ball here. So these Rangers are pretty much the only thing left on the field right now. Standing back, taking some snipe shots, but not really doing too much here. So really, really powerful attack right there. You can see that it just looked like this one Harlequin Brood was pretty destroyed by that, but whatever, they're expendable. They're meant there to be fodder. And now we're going to see a little bit of generator bashing going on right now, as these guys are just going to focus down this one lone generator over here. So not too bad. Looks like the Warp Spider Exarch moving back into position, likely going to start shredding away at these Termagants, doing a pretty good job there. You can see that Aki is upgrading to level 2 on his Hive. And meanwhile, we do have some Wraith Guard coming out, so that's pretty sweet. Ooh, and a heavy gauge Death Spinner is also being upgraded right now for the Warp Spider Exarch. More towards the center, it looks like all of Edjtuh's troops have returned and getting some strong central control there. Once again, the Warp Spider Exarch just kind of perpetually in perfect cover, blinking all around this army, and these guys are kind of sidestepping him, I think, just trying to stay outside of his field of vision. I'm sure that they know he's sort of around there, but he's definitely in a good position right now. Kind of finished the work he started over there. Meanwhile, more towards the center here, it looks like once again we've got a beautiful looking Ravener Brood popping up right underneath this Guardian squad, and at the same time, Lictor Alpha popping out of his infiltration and stabbing away at these gentlemen. Unfortunately, he is revealed right now, so he's backing away. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side here, these poor Howling Banshees forever crippling poisoned. We can see that the Raveners, making a wonderful exit right there, just burrowing a foot in front of them, knocking everybody back, and then retreating. Not a bad move there at all. However, going to be taking a little bit of damage on the way through there. I think if Edjtuh had been more on the ball there, he could have dropped the Plasma Grenade right in their way. But, oh well. Meanwhile, in the upper right-hand side, I think that was all of the Rangers just getting taken out here by this Hormigaunt Brood. Yes, it was. So Ranger squad down for Edjtuh. That was too bad. Looks like these Hormagaunts are now going to be retreating. By the way, if I didn't point it out before, they do have the Adrenal Glands upgrade. Pretty much a necessary upgrade to have for these guys if you're planning on using them at all late game. Gives them more speed and health, and they can kind of hop along when they're chasing people. Pretty useful indeed. Let's see, we've got Raveners moving out. We have got a Wounded Guardian squad there. That is not going to end up well. Those Guardians have got to get on out of there, taking a lot of damage, and it looks like he forced his Raveners into melee right there just to get them away from that Plasma Grenade, and it doesn't matter. They're doing tons of damage right now. Let's see, and I think he's forgetting to just kind of focus fire them. So it looks like they're going to be getting away like that, but perhaps he'll be capping some of these points in the meantime there. More towards the middle, we can see our Wraith Guards are in the field right now, just kind of laying into these poor little Termagants, doing that nasty sort of AoE beam weapon damage there. These guys have been upgraded to have a Warlock. You can see that fine gentleman standing over there. He is definitely cool. And over on the left, of course, we have the Autarch coming into the field right now. All the grenades kind of dropping in a nice, neat cluster around them, making it hard for them to retreat. And she's just going to come sweeping on through here with all of the upgraded Banshees. Banshees definitely have an Exarch right now. Wonderful cross-firing going on right here. We've got the Warp Spider Exarch on the left. The Shuriken Cannon on the right, absolutely suppressing everybody. The Raveners just trying their best to get away, and that was a wonderful entrance of the Autarch. Pretty much any Eldar player has got to be using the Autarch. She is just fantastic, absolutely necessary in any sort of late game strategy. It's just a really, really powerful unit at this stage in the game. So we can see that the Warp Spider is just kind of capping away, taking out this victory point. And right now we have a potential 3-cap on the field right now. So very strong looking mid-game going on right now for Edjtuh. We'll have to see what else is going to be going on here. So the Ravener Brood is now moving out once again, and these Howling Banshees may be a little overextended. I think they're quite outnumbered. The Raveners are digging their way right underneath them, knocking them all over the place. Doesn't matter though, the Autarch, wanting to take out these Termagants, just kind of jumps right on in there. Howling Banshees, as I pretty much figured, are taking way too much damage and having to get out of there. And even this speedy little flitty Autarch is taking her leave right now. She has been upgraded to have that Executioner Spear as well.